people for our last visit of the year. So
They're a super group of people. Just for full disclosure, Jack was not my student.
okay.
Josh was.
I'm thinking. I'm trying to do some math there.
I understand. Hey,
Okay.
next up we have Mr. Scott Mosgrove, social studies teacher, coach, and also history day advisor at our school. And he brought some students with you. Talk about some of their accomplishments.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, let's see. Now we have varying heights here, so we're going to pull the microphone down, make the guys kneel if they have to. Of course, you're going to have, young lady, you're going to have to stand on your tippy toes. So, Mr. Mosgrove, good morning.
Good morning, Todd. How are you today?
Wonderful, wonderful. What you got for us?
I'd like to introduce with us today Drew Rado, Jason Kowalczyk, and Sarah Rakonen. We also have one other member who's down in the sunny climate of Florida, Carmela Barbara. But this is our senior high National History Day team. We talked a little bit with you last month. We went out to the state competition in Hershey, and I'm very proud to say that the students standing before you placed sixth in the Commonwealth with their group documentary titled Triumph and Tragedy, The Manhattan Project. And I'll let them talk a little bit more about the experience they had making that, and also the competition out in Carlisle, Pennsylvania.
Wonderful. Let's meet them. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's good to have you with us. So which of you were here last time?
It's us two.
Yeah, the two of you. Okay. So let's start with you. And maybe for folks who don't know whose voice belongs to whom, you can identify yourself.
I'm Jason.
I'm Sarah.
Okay. All right. So tell me about it. How was the competition?
It was really great. I mean, we had a good time there, and the judges seemed to enjoy what we presented to them.
So had you refined it? Because we talked about this when you were here. Did you refine it from the regional to this next step? Did you change the presentation at all?
We slowed down some parts because they were going a little fast, just for the pace ourselves in the documentary, and we just overall made adjustments to timings and things to the whole thing.
Yeah. Sarah, now tell us about what the presentation was all about.
So we actually researched the Manhattan Project because we thought it had to do with the theme of the year, which was triumph and tragedy, because it helped us win the war in the Pacific, but it also killed a lot of people and caused a lot of problems to humanity in general.
And ushered in a whole new age, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the reception obviously was good on the regional level, and so at the state level, how did they react to it? How did the judges react?
They seemed really interested, and so they asked us a few questions, and they obviously liked our answers because we got into how they do it is there was 20 group documentaries, and so on the first day competing, and then they put out a list of the top 6 who would go to the second day to present again. And so we were in that.
You were in that. Yeah. Wonderful. Let's meet the third member of the team that's with us today, and tell us your name again.
Hi, I'm Drew Rado.
All right, Drew. Tell me about your role in this and the whole team as a group. How did you enjoy the experience?
So it's a really fun thing we do, and I really helped out with the research and making of the documentary. I did a lot of the primary source research, looking for different interviews and stuff that we could have put in the presentation, different books that we could have used, just things to help us progress to the next level, and that definitely helped. It got us to states and then to callbacks.
Once you get into it, there's an awful lot of material you have to winnow down, isn't there?
Yes, there's so many sources and there's so much content that you have to pick and choose because you can't keep everything. You just have to keep the best, and it's really a game. You have to figure out what you think the judges will like, and
becomes an editorial process, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I assume the entire team works on that portion of it.
Yes, we all chip in, and it's a long process. We're actually starting next year's project within the next month. We'll start looking for topics and then start looking for people to interview for our next year's presentation.
Okay. Well, you did Manhattan. Now just move over a borough to Brooklyn and do one on the Dodgers. I'm just kidding.
Just to put that in perspective, Todd, the bibliography that this team turned in was 21 pages long.
Wow.
So that was the amount of sources that they had to review. So, and most of this was done on their own time, not during school time. It was done after school and on weekends. So it was a great effort on their part, and we're very pleased and and proud of them.
An amazing amount of work. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You did a wonderful job. We appreciate very much when they put in the work, and especially on their own time, and they get rewarded for it. Principal McElhaney,
It's an incredible feat,
yeah, to do that. That's just amazing. We have another group.
We have one more.
Okay.
Very unique and interesting group. We have teacher Mr. Keaton Stans, technology education teacher, who is involved in a STEM project. And he's here to talk about that project and brought some students with him to further give some information.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think you were just here recently too, weren't
Yes, sir.
you?
Yes, we were here, stopped to visit prior to our balloon launch, and now we've launched the balloon. We've received the balloon. I brought two students with me today, Miss Ella Spadafora and Mr. Joe Swan. We're actually on the team that showed interest in the space balloon concept and weather balloon concept, and they volunteered to be on the team to go ahead and gather this balloon. Once you launch the balloon from our home field here, we had to go fetch it. And they'll be able to give you some data and some statistics about what we discovered on our balloon launch.
All right, wonderful. Your names again?
I'm Ella Spadafora.
I'm Joe Spawn.
All right. So Ella and Joe, tell me about it. This is quite the project, isn't it?
Yeah, so we sent up on May 10th at 9:30 from the football field almost like a cooler, like a styrofoam cooler, and attached to it we had a latex balloon filled with helium and a parachute for when it came down. Inside of the cooler, we had a GoPro and then a Raspberry Pi computer, which took temperature sensors and barometric pressure sensors, as well as like having hand warmers to heat up the materials, a battery pack, and a camera.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. So who went into, or what went into the thinking when you were deciding, okay, this is what we need to put in here? I would assume you had a lot of material to help you to find that.
We modeled the project based off of Mr. Stantz went to a STEM conference a few months prior to the project and found a guy who worked up in another another intermediate unit who has launched multiple weather balloons, and so we kind of modeled our project based off his and made our own adjustments and improvements.
Terrific. Was it a windy day?
Yeah, as far as the days go, it's a little bit rainy. It's not ideal weather conditions, but we still got it up there and got it back. So.
Yeah. Okay, so let's learn from you, Joe, about some more on this project.
All right, so basically whenever we sent the balloon up, the balloon's weight was a little bit, the latex itself was a little bit heavier than we expected, so therefore it would take more pressure for the balloon to pop. So we put all the helium that we had in our tank into the balloon, which was a little less than what we wanted for the mass of the latex. So as it went up, it took longer to pop because the higher it goes up, the more pressure it receives, and the more full the balloon is, the quicker it'll pop up there. So basically we were shooting between 60 to 80,000 feet, and we calculated that we got around 95 to 100,000 feet. So it pushed our discovery of the balloon out to almost an hour past what we were looking for, about 50 miles, I would say.
Oh, yeah. So where did it come down? Where did you begin to be able to collect the pieces?
We left the school at 8:30. They launched at 9:30, and we just started driving east because we knew it was going to land somewhere out there. It landed at 12:09 p.m. in the middle of a farmer's field. We got really, really lucky in that it landed in a field. We were prepared to climb trees, cut off branches, do anything we needed to do. We had a bunch of stuff in the car, but it landed at 12:09 p.m., basically like dead center of a field. We used the GPS tracker that we put in the balloon to find it. There were pings all throughout we were going, so we could kind of trace it as we were driving. And we got to the site at 1:02. So we were only there a little over an hour behind. And then we found it about 30 minutes later in the middle of the field.
What county were we in at this point?
It was over in Zenith, PA.
Zenith, PA.
Yes.
Where is that?
It's 160 miles east of us. It's
If you're
like...
familiar with Interstate 80, it's Route 93 would be the exit off of Interstate 80 there. So, we initially were looking around the area of Lock Haven University, And as they said, we ended up about 40 or 50 miles east of State College, Lock Haven area.
So, you know, the Brooklyn project would not have been a bad idea because you were almost there.
We were well on our way.
So, as you thought about the project in retrospect, I'm sure there was a lot of fun involved in it, but a lot of science.
Yeah, absolutely. There were a lot of calculations we did prior, and as we were traveling, we were trying to figure out how fast it was going and where it was going to end up and land to try to be there as it lands, because there were hundreds of dollars worth of equipment in it, and we were risking, like, someone could take it, someone else could find it, and all that stuff. So we were just trying to be there as soon as possible so we could get it, recover it, bring it back to the school.
And parental units at home were saying, "Where's my kid?"
We filled out the appropriate paperwork. And made sure everyone knew what was going on with that for sure.
Well, it sounds like it was terrific. Anything else you need to tell us about this amazing project?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, that was cool. I like that a lot. Welcome to space, huh? Jeez, getting up there. That's terrific stuff. Terrific stuff. Principal McElhaney, that was amazing.
It was. Truly amazed by all of these students and the faculty and the work they put into our school community and the return that they get for our program and for the kids. Very blessed to have a school community like we have, whether it be these programs or how students interact, contribute to what's going on at our school community. So applaud their efforts and thank them all for coming today.
Well, it's going to be evening by
Yes.
the time you're done. So.
Yes. I just bring them. You run the show, Todd. So,
Hey, everybody, thanks for coming. Thanks to you, Principal Wade McElhaney, for bringing the group every month, all of the teachers, all of the students, and others who come and represent Indiana Senior High. This has been a lot of fun this year, again, and we can't wait till next year. Well, we can, because we don't want to wish away the summer. But in the fall, when it starts up again, we'll look forward to a whole new series of adventures.
Thank you, Todd. And if I could just put a word out from our school community to our community at large that our graduation will be June 5th at KCAC, starting at 7 p.m.
All right, absolutely. Congratulations to those of you who are graduating. How many of you are graduating? All but 1, 2, or 3, or 4, huh? All right, well, congratulations on completing this portion of your life. Now get on to the next one, will you? It is 24 minutes after 9 o'clock. It's the voice of Indiana County, WCCS, AM 1160 and 101.1 FM.